The US dollar reigns supreme. It is the world's leading reserve currency. This means most central banks hold a significant portion of their reserves in US dollars. They use it to settle international transactions. This dominance gives the US immense economic and geopolitical influence. But the landscape is shifting. The dollar's dominance is being challenged. New economic powers are emerging. Digital currencies are gaining traction. The future of the dollar is uncertain. Understanding its past, present, and potential future is crucial for navigating the evolving global financial system. The US dollar's journey to global dominance began after World War II. The Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944 established a new international monetary system. This system pegged the value of other currencies to the US dollar. The US dollar was directly convertible to gold. This agreement made the US dollar the world's primary reserve currency. The US economy was the largest and most stable at the time. This arrangement fostered global trade and economic growth for decades. However, it eventually unraveled in the 1970s. The US abandoned the gold standard. The dollar became a floating currency. Despite moving away from the gold standard, the US dollar has maintained its dominance. This is due to several factors. The US has a large and stable economy. It has deep and liquid financial markets. The US dollar benefits from strong property rights and the rule of law. These factors have fostered trust in the US dollar. Investors around the world view US Treasury securities as safe haven assets. The depth and liquidity of US financial markets make it easy for international businesses to transact in dollars. This reinforces the dollar's role as the world's preferred currency for trade and investment. The US dollar's dominance has significant implications for the global economy. It provides stability and predictability in international trade and finance. Businesses can engage in cross-border transactions with reduced currency risk. This fosters global economic growth. However, dollar dominance also presents challenges. It exposes countries to the risks associated with US economic policies. Fluctuations in the US economy can have ripple effects around the world. The ability of the US to impose economic sanctions raises concerns about the dollar being used as a tool of geopolitical influence. Section 5. The petrodollar system fueling American economic power. The petrodollar system has been a cornerstone of US economic power. It refers to the agreement between the US and Saudi Arabia in the 1970s. Under this agreement, Saudi Arabia, the world's largest oil producer, agreed to price and sell oil exclusively in US dollars. In return, the US provided military protection to Saudi Arabia. This agreement had far-reaching implications. It created a significant demand for US dollars as countries needed them to purchase oil. This demand strengthened the dollar's position as the world's reserve currency. It also provided the US with significant economic leverage. Section 6. Weaponizing the dollar, sanctions and geopolitical leverage. The US has increasingly used economic sanctions as a tool of foreign policy. These sanctions often involve restricting access to the US financial system. This can severely impact targeted countries and businesses. The dominance of the US dollar gives these sanctions significant weight. However, the weaponization of the dollar has drawn criticism. Some argue that it undermines the stability of the global financial system. Others criticize it for disproportionately impacting developing countries. The overuse of sanctions risks pushing countries towards alternative financial systems. Section 7. Money printing, debt and the looming threat to dollar supremacy. The US Federal Reserve's practice of quantitative easing or money printing has raised concerns about the long-term value of the US dollar. By injecting trillions of dollars into the economy, some argue that the Fed is devaluing the currency. Additionally, the US has a massive and growing national debt. The US government relies on selling sovereign bonds to finance its debt. While there is still strong demand for these bonds, some analysts warn that this cannot continue indefinitely. If investors lose confidence in the US economy, it could lead to a sell-off in US Treasury bonds, potentially undermining the dollar's value. Section 8. A shifting landscape, challenges from the East and the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The global economic landscape is shifting. Emerging economies like China are playing an increasingly important role. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are actively seeking to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. They are promoting the use of their own currencies in international trade. The Russia-Ukraine conflict has further accelerated this trend. The US and its allies imposed unprecedented sanctions on Russia. This has led to discussions about creating alternative payment systems that bypass the US dollar. These developments pose a potential challenge to the dollar's dominance. Section 9. Digital disruption. The rise of cryptocurrencies and CBDCs. The rise of cryptocurrencies and central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, adds another layer of complexity to the future of the US dollar. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin operate independently of central banks. They offer a decentralized and potentially more efficient way to conduct transactions. CBDCs are digital currencies issued and backed by central banks. They offer the potential for faster and cheaper cross-border payments. While still in their early stages, these digital innovations could potentially challenge the existing financial system and the role of the US dollar. Section 10. The future of the dollar. Adapting to a multipolar world. The US dollar is facing unprecedented challenges to its global dominance. The rise of new economic powers, the weaponization of sanctions, and the emergence of digital currencies are changing the global financial landscape. The US needs to adapt to maintain the dollar's relevance. This requires strengthening the US economy, addressing its fiscal challenges, and fostering greater cooperation with other countries. The US also needs to be at the forefront of digital currency innovation. Embracing change and adapting to a multipolar world is crucial for the future of the US dollar. Section 11. Conclusion. Navigating the uncertain future of global finance. The future of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency is uncertain. While it is likely to remain a dominant force in the global financial system for the foreseeable future, its dominance is not guaranteed. The world is moving towards a more multipolar system. New challenges and opportunities will emerge. Understanding the forces at play, adapting to change, and embracing innovation will be key to navigating the uncertain future of global finance.